In 2011, the GAO specified $510 billion in waste. So why is the budget debate only about spending cuts versus tax increases? Obama continues losing ground with small businesses after scolding them for being proud of their own success. And what matters more in the November election, Romney's 2-to-1 poll advantage on the economy or Obama's on popularity? We have assisting me, my regulars for this part of the week, in this part of the hour of this part of the... Go on and on and on. Anyway, my regulars from Monday. Bob Weiner, Democratic strategist, columnist, and former communications director for Clinton drug czar General Barry McCaffrey. He's also former chief of staff for the House Committee on Aging. Bob, good to have you back.
It's a pleasure, Alan, and the reason the budget debate is limited outside of other subjects is what Eisenhower called the military-industrial complex. We do not debate the cost of the wars.
You know, obviously I'm conservative. I take sides with one side, but I think this is a bipartisan kind of fed-up thing, and really Congress has just got to start acting more like a business does, or it's going to find it's got, like, no approval.
Bob, how do you see it?
Well, Amy is not correct because the polls show that they do not just blame Congress, they blame Republican obstructionism by 15 points. And so for Obama to come in with something that supports 98% of the people and would save $1 trillion, and to say that you guys better support that and will allow and give them away, so that even satisfies Grover Norquist by letting the tax cuts run out, so that you're actually doing a tax increase if you don't allow the cuts for the 98%, is a very brilliant strategy, and I believe it's one that will win for the Democrats.
Interesting. Very, very intriguing. Because, you know, according to the Hill's latest poll, 2/3 of likely voters say the weak economy is Washington's fault, Bob Weiner, and more blame President Obama than anybody else. They don't blame Occupy Wall Street's claim of the upper 1%. They don't blame the rich. They don't blame corporate America. They blame Washington, and more specifically, President Obama. So regardless of all the secondary and tertiary measures used to make this race about anything but the economy, it appears that our fellow citizens aren't taking the bait. What do you say in response to the Hill poll, Bob Weiner?
Did I hear the Republican Congress on that list? That's what struck me when I heard that poll, because you do the other polling and you get the 15-point difference in blaming Republicans. The American people aren't stupid. They know that the Republicans have killed all the jobs.
Whoa. If that were true, then the generic...
They refuse to support tax breaks for the middle class.
According to...
for the rich.
You changed the subject to which political party is at fault. They're all at fault. We're all at fault. We have to do the hard work of finding the problems and fixing them.
Well, it's funny that Amy wants to say that this is both parties when Bill Clinton had surpluses, and under the Clinton tax rates, which is what Obama wants to go back to, we had 23 million jobs. So things worked when the Congress worked together, and the Republicans then were willing to compromise. Even Newt Gingrich was willing to compromise with Bill Clinton to make the budget, and Gingrich said so, and make the budget work. So now, don't think it's a two-sided story. This is a one-sided story now, a Republican kill.
Not.
Let me get into something here, Bob, with you. These folks are constantly arguing, it's been out of context. Do you really feel that the out of context any longer works, or would you acknowledge that this president just royally screwed it up on this one occasion, Bob Weiner?
That the team effort element is very important, both the workers and the creation of roads, bridges, and Internet that help businesses thrive. So for somebody to say they do it on their own is just an ego trip. They should say that a lot of people helped me get there.
Do you believe there was some harm done?
Yeah, I said that it was a little bit of a misstatement, but it's also the people that believe a certain way are going to poll the certain way and it's like health care. They're going to poll the way they want that bases on the politics, even when it was their idea in the first place to create the mandate and go through the private sector for health care to expand. So you've got some predetermined politics that are built into that poll.
Too many politicians have an eye toward how things poll and not how well they can do the job they were elected to do.
Bob?
Well, ask Newt Gingrich what it's like when the public perceives you are the shutdown reason. What's going to happen is because the American people support tax breaks not being given to the rich but to everybody else, 98%, because they already have plenty, we may go over the cliff for a day, and then it's not a tax cut anymore. Then it's not a tax increase, then it's a tax cut off the Bush-mandated legislation, actually, that said that these tax cuts ever expire, and they do. So then you're actually cutting for the middle class instead of just for the rich. And the American people, the polling is clear, Amy, on that, support the tax breaks for the middle class, but they oppose the tax breaks for the rich.
How can you blame the wealthy right now for the fiscal mismanagement perpetrated by our elected leaders, Bob?
Well, you can, and I've charted it in the Miami Herald, and I invite our listeners to go and challenge the points that we make. Go to weinerpublic.com or go to the Miami Herald on trickle-down economics doesn't work, and the Democrats presidents having a 5.5 GDP growth versus 1.5 for Republican presidents because of their philosophy until Obama, who adopted the Bush tax breaks philosophy, and now we're stuck with low GDP because of it, and that's why Obama is reversing back to the original Democratic philosophy.